Fellow citizens, in these past weeks, our beloved country, Nigeria, has endured its most humiliating international public image since the Abacha era. Years of leadership failure to confront our nation's underlying crisis finally came to a head as the deteriorating state of our country drew the most despicable language ever used by a world leader to describe Africa's largest nation, with President Trump referring to Nigeria as a now disgraced country. A sudden intense flurry of activity from the Nigerian government following Donald Trump's threat only betrays the fact that before now, Nigerian leaders had buried their heads in the sand like ostriches, preoccupied with the politics of chaos and paying little attention to the real work of governance, until Donald Trump's insults jolted the sleeping giant. Nigeria's political class have been dancing on the hot stove like the experimental frog that slowly boiled to death as the heat rises. They have numbed themselves to the painful realities that ordinary citizens endure daily. It is a stain on the Nigerian government that it took the threat of external intervention to rouse leaders to their responsibilities. It's a shame on our National Assembly that it took the United States Congress, not the representatives elected by Nigerians, to convene a hearing on the lived experiences of citizens suffering under insecurity, while those in Abuja were busy with politicking, posturing for political relevance, defecting from one political party to another in their desperate maneuvers to secure their seats ahead of the 2027 elections. It is evident that the president has made initial efforts to respond to the situation. Therefore, within this short-term period, the following additional objectives must be pursued under the leadership of the president and the relevant members of his team. Number one, acknowledge the responsibility of the Nigerian state. This will entail the president owning the failure of government over the decades to protect the victims and survivors of banditry, terrorism, and other forms of insecurity. Rather than saying it didn't begin with me, it's time for you to take action. It will entail opening a victims and survivors register. Then at the end of 3 months, in a solemn address to the nation, the president will tender an apology on behalf of the Nigerian state to victimized communities across the nation, calling each community by name and possibly some of the families most gruesomely hit in the attack. Such an acknowledgement will expectedly be followed by compensation in the midterm phase. Since Friday, October 31, 2025, our country has found itself in the center of an unfolding storm. It began with the announcement by President Donald Trump of the United States redesignating Nigeria as a country of particular concern. When I first heard CPC, I thought it was a party that we killed to form APC. You know, it was CPC. Nigeria became a country of particular concern over allegations of a government-oriented killing of Christians. The US president's subsequent threat to come into our country, guns are blazing, to undertake what he described as a fast, vicious, and swift attack on terrorists, has jolted a hitherto sleeping giant into sudden frenzy. Within the same period, the existential dangers that once lurked beneath the surface of our national life are now breaking through, demanding urgent attention, even as terrorists intensify their threats and attacks against the Nigerian state. From the ambush of troops of the 25 Task Force Brigade in Borno State by the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, in which Brigade Commander M. Uba and 3 others were killed, to the attack on Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, Kebbi State, in which dozens of schoolgirls were abducted and the vice principal killed, to the attacks on Christ Apostolic Church, Eriku, Ekiti local government area in Kwara State, in which dozens of worshippers were kidnapped, to the kidnapping of hundreds of students from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri Town, Niger State, all in the space of 1 week. The level of insecurity seems to have worsened in response to this global focus on Nigeria as terrorists and bandits brazenly dare the Nigerian state. While we rejoice at the release of some of the kidnapped victims, including the Kebbi school girls and the Kwara church worshippers, as well as the escape of some of the pupils kidnapped in Papiri, Niger State, the secrecy-shrouded circumstances of their release leave more questions than answers. Who ordered the withdrawal of the military from the Kebbi school about 45 minutes before the attack? What agreements were negotiated with the bandits? And what concessions were made to secure the release of the abductees? The continuing attacks on communities further underscore the need for fundamental interventions that go to the very essence of our nationhood and the quality of governance in both domestic and foreign policy contexts.
Apostle Michael Olowokere, in a post on X, raised alarm about the arrest of evangelist Daniel Ukpo, the pastor who posted a video about a Nasarawa church crusade that was allegedly stormed by herdsmen on Monday. However, in a twist of events, evangelist Ukpo, in a new video, claimed that he was never arrested, nor did herdsmen ever invade his crusade. Apostle Olowokere had claimed that evangelist Ukpo was arrested by the Nigerian police force after releasing the video detailing the incident, and berated the federal government for allowing terrorists to openly post videos on social media while facing no repercussions. Let's take a look.
I have just been rightly informed that evangelist Daniel Ukpo have been arrested by the Nigerian police force because of the video he posted about the incident that happened in the community in Nasarawa State. In Nasarawa State, where he was holding a crusade, where he was part of a team in a crusade, and then the Fulani herdsmen attacked that community. I've watched that video, I saw that video, and that video was real. It was legit. There was no photoshopping, there was no any kind of AI mixture. It was real. The situation was real. And the man only reported, the man of God only reported what was happening at that time. And because of this, the Nigerian police have arrested him. You see, we have become a useless society. This is what the Nigerian state has become. The bandits, terrorists, every day are on TikTok. They are on TikTok doing videos. They are on TikTok sharing money, doing giveaway. They are on TikTok giving updates on their location, doing things as though they are free. These are people that are causing mayhem, that are causing destruction of lives and properties every single day, causing pain to family. But not one have you gone to arrest. You have not seen those ones. You cannot be watching terrorists and bandits and criminals, people that are causing problems to Nigerians every single day, having a few days. They make calls, they make calls, they are on TikTok doing every day on social media. Not one of them have you arrested. But a man of God only gave an update on a situation where Fulani jihadists, Fulani terrorists attacked the community, and the man showed in the video, and you are quick to go and arrest him. We will not tolerate this. I call on every man of God, Inspector General of Police, we demand the release of Evangelist Ukpo.
Well, the Nasarawa State Police Command, in a post on X, stated that no herdsmen attack occurred anywhere in Nasarawa State, and that the published reports, including the video in circulation, do not reflect the true situation in Agboda community. Olowokere stated on X that Evangelist Ukpo's brother had reached out to him on Facebook asking him to delete the video, claiming that Ukpo was detained, but he declined. Olowokere went further to suggest that Ukpo was being manipulated and coerced into making the video denying the incident. However, in a separate post from an X account called Rural Evangelist, Daniel Ukpo's wife, Elizabeth Ukpo, reportedly confirmed that her husband had been detained. Well, this is deeply confusing. Now, the question is, what actually happened? Is Ukpo being forced to recant under detention, or was the original attack a false claim? Bimbai, I don't know if you were here when we took the story. Were you here when we took this story? We heard Ukpo, the evangelist, say that, his crusade was invaded. He actually did say there were headsmen, and all of that. And that video went viral. Now we are hearing from the Nasarawa State Police Command saying that this incident did not happen in Nasarawa State. And we also saw a video of Evangelist Ukpo saying that, this is a false claim, nothing happened, he was never arrested, and his crusade was never invaded. But we saw the video and people were running. I mean, your thoughts?
There were chaotic scenes in that video. There were chaotic scenes. And, the response from the police is concerning because I wish they had acknowledged that there was a chaotic incident. Okay. Even if they're saying that they are debunking that it was herders, but we can see that there was some sort of commotion that transpired there. So, well, it's unfortunate because, it's his word against theirs, but we have the video. Yes. We have the video, and there was commotion. There was something happening there. We have him saying there's commotion and concern.
An invasion on his crusade.
However, Oji, what my concern is that when it comes to Sowore, we are able to write to X and Facebook and demand that he take down certain posts that he made because they feel that those posts are inflammatory or insightful. But when it comes to bandits on TikTok, we are unable to write to TikTok to say, can give us the details of these people, because they are most likely using VPNs, so you can't really track them directly like that. But what you can do is you can write to the platform, and the platform has all IP addresses. They have the technology exists. Beyond that, cell phone towers, they are using network. They are not, operating in some sort of alternate universe. If they are not using our own cell phone providers here, then even if they're using Starlink, we can still write to Starlink. So my point is that there are ways to tackle, trace all of these people, but for some reason our energy is not being deployed in doing so.
Yeah, because the pastor made that point, that we are seeing these bandits. I have videos. I get sent videos by my producer of these bandits, terrorists, posting and showing off with money and all of that. Why is it that the security agencies don't go after those people, but quickly go after a Sowore or one of those sort of? Your thoughts on this story before I move to the next one?
I think the reason why they do so is because it's easier to do that than to tackle the real problem. And it's almost similar to what we were talking about previously with Governor Bago, him talking about peripheral issues when you should be talking about the main issue. And I think that in this instance, this is another example of doing the easiest thing, which is trying to stifle the speaking out or punishing people. And it sets a really dangerous precedent, because you would think that he would be commended for putting his own life at risk and making sure that there is proof that something has happened in our community. You can see all of the people running around. You can see people on motorcycles. Everyone is scared. Okay, let's put this on the internet. Let's record this. Let's share this with the world. Share this with our local community. Share this with the police. And for that to be the reason why he is apprehended, and then all of a sudden we're now hearing him say that, oh, actually that didn't happen, or I didn't. It stinks from top to bottom. It does appear as though he is being coerced into changing his testimony, and it's unfair. And like I said, it sets a very dangerous example, because the next time something like this happens, someone will feel reluctant to share what is happening in their backyard, because it seems as though we have set a precedent that the witness is the criminal. And that shouldn't be the case ever.
Well said, well said. Meanwhile, in Edo State, a shocking new video has surfaced online showing a husband and his pregnant wife being held at gunpoint by terrorists in the middle of a forest. The video was posted on Thursday by activist Harrison Gwaminishu. In the video, the terrified couple appealed to the public for help, saying that their kidnappers are demanding 50 million naira, but that their families are not able to raise the money and are only able to raise 7 million naira. Some viewers might find this video distressing. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's take a look.
My wife get belay, they want to put her. I beg, moon airport, only 7 million of family, your feelings. I beg, moon airport. They say now 15 million in the fine. Moon airport.
This is where my brother and his wife were kidnapped last night. The both of them, around the hours of 7 to 8. He was coming back from town yesterday in his house when they kidnapped him and his wife. According to somebody that was at home, he said he saw Fulani men taking them inside the bush. This is the bush where he was taken into. This is the place where we saw their footprints. Our younger brother that was at home yesterday, he saw them. So he was the one that called us. Before we got to the environment, they were already gone.
Well, this is the latest in a number of kidnappings for ransom that we have seen from Edo State. We have not yet seen a statement from, the governor of the state, Monday Pueblo, or from the Edo State Police Command. But Gwaminishu has said that he has, alerted the federal and state government to act swiftly on their behalf. We have seen videos from this activist, Harrison Gwaminishu, who's been doing a fantastic job helping to rescue our kidnapped victims. Now we are seeing these vulnerable people, being kidnapped. In Niger State, there was a pregnant woman kidnapped. Now we're seeing these people in the forest. He's there crying, saying they are demanding 50 million naira. You saw where they live. Where are they going to get 50 million naira from? And the Senate have been pushing. I believe Adam Soshomole recently said that this kidnapping thing is a money-making venture that we really need special forces to tackle.
Absolutely. Gosh, OG, it almost feels like we regurgitate the same thing over and over again, because again,